This is Friday the 16th of January. The plan, as I posted and have mostly posted in this range, is the 60s to 90s range that we've been traversing a lot. So we had it over here, down here, here. We're doing this for multiple days now. Even if this has been kind of clean balance, I have barely gotten much trades here just because of how it sets up and when it taps those areas. There's been a lot where it needs 3 to 4 tries to work, and that's usually when I kind of just miss the trades. I don't find a good low or a good high, and I just end up not filling. Thankfully on Friday, did get a pretty good one down here at 66 after IB break. I usually always mention the volume and how the lows, if it's a good or bad low to me. And this one is not really anything special. So the main reason I ended up taking this and why I think it's a okay one. Also from the prior day, we have this node here, and we were still within yesterday's range. Sometimes you could wait for a prior day low break and to come back up, but for this one, it gave a nice response into the node we built here, and then we obviously have the upper balance from yesterday here. The same here, we have a lot of volume here, really hard to break, and that basically goes for this whole range. It's always been something responsive in the 60s. Now, if it doesn't give a good low that I'd like to lean against, this one is okay, but there's only volume down. There's not much to the upside here, so it just kind of chops and balances back. The reason why I think these are okay is simply because the range we had into POC, and assuming this is still a balance, which it is until it's proven it's not. So even you can see on the replay here, if you go here, so I usually do the last weeks, I wait a lot for IB to set. This is the current week's profile. It's a really iffy one. Weekly POC is up here as 90, which is a good thing for us. And then this is very slop in my opinion. Like this could all use some more filling to really fill out that whole weekly balance. But there's not a lot of good areas to trade here. You can see even 60s doesn't really have much. There's no volume node, no lower volume node. So it's mainly just playing off the balance. And you can see from the prior day here too that prior day low is all the way down here in the 30s. I think I mentioned that's also a possible setup. And then we do have that. This is really the only thing to lean on here. So this weekly doesn't give too much. It's mostly just playing the balance range. And the advantage is that POC is up here and no real break away from it. So I wouldn't call in one trapped on the week. So what happens is IB starts to set and we end up breaking below it. And you can see the second we just come right back up. So this IB break is really bad. It already has volume filled in. Like there's no single print that held or a good lower volume node for sellers to really trap this up top. And then, so it's basically on the day, there's no real buyers that's trapped that need to liquidate. And it kind of goes for the same on the weekly. There's no buyers here that's really trapped and needs to liquidate. And then the same goes for all range, right? We're still within the 60 to 90 range. And now when this came down, something you really have to lean against to me here is like this low is kind of hard to catch. That's why you have to somewhat think about if this even has the range to be able to trade it. And that depends to me on the POC. So for me, I ended up filling this 66 here, 66 to 68. And the main reason for that is whenever we do an IB break, and I think it's a failed break, or that is what I'm playing for, I'm also playing for the balance, this range on the day, to start to fill in. And with that, the target for me is usually POC or range highs. And to me, this ratio or R is pretty much worth it. So even if the low is not the best, you can see we do a good sell volume down that gets both right back up, but we are lacking some buy volume and range driving away from it. But considering this, even if it's not the best low, the range is here. We do have POC all the way at 90s, which is also the range high we talk about. And we even have the second volume node right here, which is still decent. That also means we end up filling this profile out. Then at the end, you can see we end up going to the second one. Then I believe I mentioned that VPOC could probably happen if we held above initial balance low, which is right here. But to remember correctly, to drive up into it. Yeah, basically drive up to VPOC, the weekly one. And tags, comes back down, and just keeps balancing the rest of the day. Another note on Friday, I didn't mention, I think the range was set when we drove here and came back here. The main reason for that is just mainly because of the weekly POC and the weekly volume maybe right here. if you don't really break above the POC and hold above it, there's no real reason to think that we're driving higher, because this is where most of the inventory or trades were done on the week, which then again means there is some supply here, even if it's not trapped. So there's a good chance for me, find it how in the daily profile, if you go back around here, you can see that the daily profile is pretty close to balance too. I don't really consider these right here low volume nodes. And they are, but there's no clean breakaway from this higher volume node. So to me, these have a bigger chance of filling in and just make one clean distribution. Kind of similar here on the weekly. This is not a clean break or a good lower volume node. It's a big chance they just fill in. And then that's why I said I think most likely the range is set. Because if you come back up, shift POC some, then we start filling in these areas. So now you can see how the profile is now basically became one big balance with no sloppy areas. Comes down a little, fills in some more lower, and then there's a pretty clean balanced profile, really bit, not a tail, but in the end here. So that is mainly what we played in on Friday. Again, not the best low, but simply just trying to play the range until we actually have a clean break. I think I can mention that if this was a really good low, in my opinion, this move right here, the move back up, would ideally have way better volume. Because if it did, you could just start risking the low of like the drive away instead of having to risk down here. It's the only thing that could be better on this setup personally. Let me see if, I don't know if there is like, that's also a big reason why I haven't really caught any of these moves lately, because you can see the same here. There's not really a good drive away. Like it's all the way up here when it gets the volume and then just slams back down. It should have been down here. See the same with almost all these lows lately. So yeah, that's the Friday one.